Before we introduce the prototype system, I'll explain the details regarding the problems Run the Roost is facing with maintenance requests and how building implementations lead to the integration aspect of the project. First, the response times are slow as property managers gather request details and reach individuals to contractors to get quotes. This leads to managers possibly doing the work manually within Buildium as it does not provide an automation integration. Buildium is a centralized property management platform involving tasks like lease accounting and maintenance management tools. Third, there is no integration with home service networks because existing workflows rely on tenant descriptions or manual outreach through emails to contractors. With this, Rent the Roost does not have an automated triage system that can validate or verify issues or match requests to the correct vendor. Although previous attempts have been made to integrate automated workflows, the process still remains to be mostly manually handled. For our group's proposed solution, the team focuses on modernizing Rent the Roost's maintenance operation with an automated end-to-end workflow. This problem proposal strategy is based on the connection between the Buildium UI and A2N UI. The first aspect is to automate the triage and vendor matching processes. This ensures that every request is routed correctly to the correct vendor. Next, the automated system allows a simplified experience for tenants. They'll have a reliable way to report maintenance issues through Buildium, and those reports can directly be requested and sent through the automated workflow from A2N. This eases the process of manual sorting and transitions a tenant request process into an email triage system with automated workflows. For the internal team, an automated system helps with repetitive steps, especially with requesting additional information from the tenant and sending vendor quotes. Finally, for property managers, they can step in at any final stages they need for sign-offs or confirmation.
For security and recovery, our primary goal was to protect tenant, property, and vendor data while maintaining system reliability. The system uses role-based access control, meaning tenants, property managers, and vendors can only view information relevant to their role. All data exchanged between Buildium and external vendor networks is transmitted securely to prevent unauthorized access. In terms of recovery, backup and recovery procedures are built into the system to ensure that maintenance requests, communication, logs, and approval records are not lost in the event of a system failure. This ensures business continuity and allows Rent the Roost to maintain operations even during technical disruptions. Overall, security and recovery were designed to support automation without compromising trust or data integrity.
Moving on to project display, we didn't build too much UI for this project because the goal was to build an integrated maintenance triage system that was as invisible to the end user as possible. But of course, you want a way to solve problems and keep track of issues in the pipeline as a property manager. So we do have three ways that we can interact with the system on the back end and make sure that everything is functioning properly. And if something does go wrong, we can track down exactly where in the pipeline it failed and then pick it up manually from there. So the first and most used piece of UI for this project is the Buildium user interface itself. So this is an integration project to connect directly to Buildium, and every time our system does something, we record that in a Buildium work order. So you should be able to just go into Buildium's UI and keep track of anything that's going on, work being scheduled, or open maintenance requests, just within the Buildium user interface itself. And then if something goes wrong and you're not seeing it in the Buildium user interface, then you can also look inside of the internal log that our system produces and saves in Google Drive. And that gives you a more verbose error log of everything that's going on behind the scenes and every email that the artificial intelligence has composed and sent to a tenant or vendor. So that can give you more information and give you an indication of where things fell off and why Buildium is potentially not reflecting reality. And then finally, you can also go into the N8N user interface and make adjustments, add workflows, do anything that you need to do at that lower level with the N8N user interface. So these are the three core user interfaces that would be used during this project. All right, so in terms of current progress, we've accomplished a lot with this project, although we still have a lot more that we can do. But the first thing that we did is we built a mock API interface to imitate Buildium's system because actually signing up for the API with Buildium was cost prohibitive for our client. So we started off with a sandbox environment built in Supabase to emulate the API. And with that and N8N, we were able to implement our email based triage system. We have not yet implemented a text based or graphical user interface based system, but we have fleshed out the email based triage. And in terms of that automated workflow routing, we used N8N to be able to route our emails through several different workflows so we can handle the beginning, a new maintenance request. We can also request additional info for that maintenance request and then handle the follow up to that email. And we can request scheduling from contractors to schedule visits to get estimates and quotes for jobs, and we can follow up on those emails and schedule contractors. Notably missing is the ability to verify that the price is acceptable with the property manager and the ability to verify that the work being requested is within the scope of the lease. Those are things that are on the roadmap but not yet implemented. Something we did implement is the internal vendor search. So we're able to search through all of the vendors that the property manager has used in the past with previous properties and previous work, and select the most eligible vendor out of those vendors to request for a quote and for completing the work at any given property. We have not yet implemented any third party vendors like Angie's List. But that is to come as well. And then we also do have, of course, verbose system logging. So anything that happens inside the system is recorded in great detail in an Excel sheet that is very accessible and allows the user to troubleshoot any issues they have. Um, so yeah, that is our current state of the system.
One of the main challenges of this project was integrating third-party vendor networks with Buildium's existing workflows. Because Buildium does not natively support automated vendor matching, the team had to design a solution that connects external services while still aligning with current property management processes. Another challenge was ensuring that maintenance requests were accurate before reaching vendors. Tenant submitted requests can vary in clarity, so validating issues without slowing down the process was a key concern of ours. Additionally, it was important to minimize disruption for property managers by balancing automation with human oversight. The system needed to reduce manual workload while still allowing managers to retain final decision-making control.
Now that we walked through the main objectives and work progress, the next step is to look ahead to what the team can add to the current project's Buildium UI and Internet UI connection. In addition to the email notifications, SMS or mobile app notifications could give tenants and property managers faster and more flexible communication options. On the workflow side, tailoring each request to the appropriate person can improve the workflow efficiency and reduce confusion and risk of any delay of important approvals. Also, we can plan to strengthen automation by adding cost validation steps. Cost validation will help with assigning estimates for maintenance improvements and any budget guidelines. Likewise, adding automated lease eligibility checks is important for any specific responsibilities and decision-making in terms of the maintenance. Finally, focusing on load testing and perform simulation is important in making sure the system is reliable even with multiple requests. These improvements could make the workflow faster and a scalable workflow for an effective William maintenance system.